she would have activated one of the traps just to make room, for sure. So I'm pretty sure it's 2 low levels.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and set 3 cards, and then I'm gonna end my turn.
I see.
It's one of those games.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just swing in. Eventually one of these barriers is gonna stop an attack or something.
Well, goodbye all my beasts.
Setting it up for later. We are halfway through the deck. I feel like you have to have found one.
I think I just do this, to be honest.
Oh, setting 2 now. Things are getting lower. Will I actually be able to pierce in for damage? The answer is no, because you still have Widespread Ruin. But I can at least keep my Growls on board.
Alright, we are going to use the Widespread here.
I am not shocked at all.
I would have liked to, you know, had a good time to use that, but but we're basically being forced to use it now.
I'm still waiting for there to be a random 1400 that you protect with the barrier.
Alright,
I'm excited to go see this from your perspective later, because I have no idea what all those cards you were keeping in your hand are.
Well, one is Paku Paku.
Oh, okay. Paku Paku in a high level? That makes sense. But probably 2 high levels.
We will summon. Then guess we're just going to do this. I think we do just use the effect here.
So is your plan to deck yourself out? Is that the winning strategy?
The plan is to have something playable. That is the current strategy. Unfortunately, the deck has been very unkind to us.
Yeah, I'm guessing you now have like 2 high-level monsters in hand. But does this work the way I think it does? Summon Rocker.
Okay.
Get Growl. But then I can't attack directly.
Correct. Can
so
out
that's
the
no
Yami
fun.
Ruler, though.
Yeah, this should bring it down pretty low. All 3 Piercing Samurai are gone. So I can just set here. And swing in. You get to destroy some of my back row, though.
Yeah,
so that's
we'll
cool.
be doing that. We did hit the Widespread. Okay. This is where things get a little bit tricky, though. That's really bad. Right, surely that's not the play. Still have access to that, so that doesn't even guarantee anything. I would like to start getting aggressive, but this hand really doesn't want me to.
I feel like it's hard without any piercing left and 2 attack position monsters, so you can't like celery into direct a big push going.
I'm kind of in a very, very poor spot. There's not really much I can do about it. Again, the deck's just giving me all the cards in the wrong order. guess we will just summon.
Alright, and then
Should be
N,
both.
right? Okay.
Activate Celerity. Change this to defense. Activate Reincarnation. Discard Battle Slash.
Mm-hmm.
Guess here it doesn't really matter what we take. Taking that doesn't actually give me anything. That's only 100 less, so why not? We'll take back Piercing Samurai.
So you do have a piercing, right? Okay.
Well, I don't have another
Oh,
monster.
but you don't have 3.
I can only do
man.
what I've got. Like I said, the deck has not been kind. Let me pass.
Huh. I think I have to... Seahorse Carrier.
Okay.
Grab this. Summon. Then Growl, which unfortunately I'm not going to be able to use. But I can go for a heavy metal.
Mm-hmm. Expected this. Again, I know where to play around it.
Destroy this one. Nessus the Star Knight. And then Ruin is gone.
Yeah, I was
Which
forced to use it
means-
to make room for my back row to get spell and traps out of my hand.
If I go like this, I can play around a Recital. And without Widespread, this should be game.
Wait, did I just miss something?
With the-
Where did my
It's
guy go?
possible. I ate him. Oh, Phantom Bind. I guess you were running it the whole time.
Hmm.
Good game.
Oh, yeah. It
I
was
guess
a,
I'm glad that I did that.
it was a trick.
Was
What?
that Phantom Bind gonna be enough?
I don't.
No, I think it would have been like
mattered.
100 or 200 off.
Yeah, it's a shame that that's how that went. Just because in that game too,
Mhm.
again, my seahorses were both just stuck at the bottom of my last 2 cards of the deck, and then in that one again, I didn't draw anything. But with that, that is going to be the Hylister victory, 3-1. And that was also,
That was
by the
pretty
way, winning four coin tosses as well.
That's really the true skill. So when you play card games, the most important things are to load your dice, stack your deck, and then cut all of the opponent's good cards to the bottom. That's what I've learned from playing in card shops over the years. So I made sure to make use of all 3 of those during this event.
Yeah, well, it was very fun to play regardless. I mean, obviously, it would have been nice to... Less, I think, the Aqua Aggro decks. We did get to see quite a lot of that. It would have been nice to see the Dark Celerity deck actually play. I think I had 1 turn of attacking in that game. But outside of that, it was really cool, right? We got to see a lot of what these decks can do. Obviously, both of us kind of brought an aggro pile as well, which I think is quite suitable. We both had different ways of doing that. Obviously, the Aqua Aggro deck is something that was really strong before, but since I think people have started learning that our Ancient Arise Dragon is a card, you could just play that in an aggro pile. The Aqua Aggro has really fallen off, and I think it's now... It's nice to look back at it and be like, that was a deck for a bit, but I don't think it's great anymore.
I think it still has like some minor advantages. So having all the 2500s does mean like you can use traps more effectively, because that 100 on Ancient Arise Dragon does come up against like Resonance, where they can have a 2800. and it's just generally just a little bit harder for them to beat over. But I agree, Ancient Arise Dragon is usually the better call. I do think it's unfortunate that they've given Psychic so much support, but I still wasn't able to just find anything that I considered playable. I was like, yeah, I have to just cheese this with the Shining Superstar draw.
It's tricky with Psychics, because the Hangry skill is like, it gives you everything you need, but doesn't facilitate it in like a good way, right? Because like, if you do get the God Hand, right, your life points get just low enough, you're able to find your, you get your Roman pick, your other 2 cards, and then if the other 2 cards you draw for turn are really, really good, like a second Roman pick, for example, right, you can pop off and have this like really insane turn where you gain you gain a ton of attack points. You get to pop 2 of your opponent's monsters, and Esperard can pop face down, if I recall correctly as well, which can just completely clear the way for you to just kill your opponent. But I feel like there's so many things that have to go right for that to happen, and just it feels too inconsistent to actually make it like a top tier strategy, which is such a shame, because again, Psychic is so cool. It's one of the coolest decks, but it's just it's not quite there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. It rigs 3 of the 5 cards, but then you need those 2 cards to both be low levels to actually do what the deck wants you to. Like if you draw a single spell or trap or a 3rd high level monster on the turn you activate your skill, it's like, well, I guess I just lose now.
Exactly.
And a lot of the times when I'm fighting it, I'll be like, oh, this is really scary. But I've smacked them hard enough where they can't actually do their play, because they need to have the Ramon pick, pay 500, pay 1,000 for the Prima Gatarna, maybe play another Ramon pick to get the materials if they draw a spell or trap card. And it's like, if I knock them down to like 1,000 life, they're not able to activate any of that. So they can use the Esperade, but they're not able to actually do the full combo because they don't have the points needed to actually do it. I
found the opposite to be true as well, where if you knock them down to like 2,000 or 3,000, they get to do everything. So I've had a couple of games where I've been like, I'm just not going to attack them, because I could just chunk them down to like 3,000, but then they can just pop off and kill me, right? Because they get easy access to cards that can reduce their life points, even just from the skill. They've just got 1,500 straight away just from that skill itself. Not to mention, you could, if you really were able to, just get Prima out, use Prima effect, get Prima in graveyard, summon out the Roman pick, put Prima back in hand, resummon out and pay another 1,000, which is a pretty tall order and a bit ridiculous, but you can do it, right? You can mitigate a lot of the kind of the luck variables. But that's another thing I've seen people do with that deck, is they tend to try and stick the normal number of high-level monsters into the deck, which is really awkward, because then you go to use your Hangry skill, and you draw out like 2 high-level monsters on top of the 2 high-level monsters the skill has put into your hand.
Yeah, you definitely don't need as many high levels, but if you don't have enough, then you just won't find anything on like turn 1, and then that's the other issue I have with Psychic decks, is that the low levels just feel so bad. Like in the first format, people were running not great high levels. Like even this Roa deck, I'm running Princess Kana and whatnot, but anytime I play Azure with Psychics, it's just like, these don't do anything. Like even going second, like I'm just constantly setting 3 and passing. Like, I don't know. I just have not been able to make it work. I like Roman. I like the deck. I think if we get another Roman pick or 2, it definitely becomes a lot better. But then it's like, do you need to limit 3 Roman pick so that they can't infinitely loop themselves in, like, aggro piles? So it's kind of tough to say for sure what to do. I think I'd probably try to give them more spell and trap support, which is kind of what they did initially with the Lullabind and Psychic Wall, but it just wasn't enough.
I entirely agree. It felt like, oh, we'll give them the battle traps. People will want to play battle traps. Battle traps are generally quite good, therefore Psychics will be good. And it just didn't work out that way, unfortunately.
I know when, like, right before the game launched, when we were, like, looking at all the skills, everyone was really excited for Roman. They thought, like, setting a Book of Moon from the graveyard every turn, that was going to be crazy. But then it turned out you had to fill your deck with just unplayable garbage. And it did not end up working out that way.
Well, plus
So,
everyone I think
how
went.
much time did you spend on? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Dragius just completely whoops the meta as well. So it's like, oh, you're playing a deck that doesn't have Dragius in it. What are you doing?
You know, I actually only bought one Dragius deck this time, but
I mean, so
we do
did
have
I.
traps now, so.
Yeah.
Um,
You're
I was
asking
gonna ask
how much time I spent building?
How much time did you spend like choosing the decks for this, or did you just go like, well, I'm Yuga, here's my 7 Axel Road deck from the ladder, let's just bring that.
So I was debating about whether bringing more fun decks, but like I feel like I probably brought the most competitive of each I could have, and still got 3-1. So I'm quite happy I didn't bring some like goofy fun variants, like Bender Break or something. Or I mean, like I guess for Gavin it probably would have been Blue Falcon, but even Blue Falcon like is playable. It's not fantastic, but it's playable.
I think they've done a really good job. I know a lot of people in like the normal Rush format don't ultimately enjoy the Duel Links as much, but I think they've done a really good job. There are 190 cards in the game, and if we look at like the last 4 weeks, there are like 15 playable decks listed on the site, and that doesn't even include things like Dark Magician, which I think is not great, but it's like I'd say it's at least as good as Tengu. Like there are like 15 to 16 decks in a format with only 200 cards. I think it's like an incredible accomplishment.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people will look at that and say a lot of those decks are very samey, like a lot of them as like Dragius aggro piles. And also when you look at like topping tournament lists, we tend to be seeing around the same 5 decks. But even that in itself, right, seeing 5 different decks that are all different enough and competitively viable and all able to win tournaments or top tournaments, I think is the sign of a really nice, diverse meta, which is something that I personally always look for in a card game. Like, I know there are a lot of people that are like, oh, I love tier 0 formats. I just want to play tier 0 all the time and have them mirror, and yeah, that's not me. I'm variety is the spice of life for me.
Yeah, I definitely like having more decks than fewer. There's always going to be something that's the best. Sometimes it's a little bit too much. Like I think Dragonic Resonance is still a good deck, so it's a little. It definitely deserves the hits, but it's still playable, and there are still a lot of things to do. You're right. We could like fold aggro and bubble era into like one deck type. The Red Eyes deck is basically like Royal Rebels and Yami Ruler, and it's one of those two, so you could kind of get rid of that. But 5 like tournament winning decks and then like 10 decks that can actually still take games is way better than the original format. Like, I mean, you had Dragoncaster, Pure Dragons, I guess, the Beast Gear as like a funny tee-hee thing.
I always love Beast Gear.
Psychics felt unplayable. We got Thunder Beetles, which did absolutely nothing. The cat support from the original 7s era, like Lost Cat is a cool card but doesn't do anything because your deck is all monsters.
But Schrodinger, like, is a cool character.
Yeah.
This silly cat hat.
Like, so with the same number of cards, if we look at 7s, like where the actual card game was, there were maybe generously like 4 decks in the game. And Dragoncaster was well above the rest of them. Whereas here we have, like you said, 5 very good decks and another 5 to 10 like below it. So I'm pretty happy with Duel Links. I've been playing it a lot, obviously. But I thought those were some. I do feel like I kind of got very lucky. That last game, you didn't find any of your tributes. I think game 3 was probably the most interesting because we had those stare downs where attacking felt incorrect for a lot of the turns in a row. It's like what? Because I had a Ghost Cyclone like the entire game,
but I never cleared your board.
You never actually cleared my board. Yeah. Which was really interesting. And then the Shining Superstar draw. I had one turn where it would have been really good to use, But I still had like a random Dragius on the board because we just weren't able to get over each other. And I find those really interesting. You will see a lot of my games, I go down to like 5 cards in deck. I don't know if I play like weirdly, but I've noticed my deck is always lower than my opponent's. Except for the one game where you decked out right at the end. I don't know why. I don't know if that's even a good thing, but I have noticed it.
I think the big thing is that we don't have many shufflers available to us at the moment. And I think the big one, and like kind of the first widely used one was, I mean, outside of, you know, in physical, it would have been Dark Revelation, right? I mean, that card is...
Oh, sure.
But other than that, I think it's probably Light Machines with the Mirror Innovator. And if we do get Mirror Innovator soon, which I would love to see, but I don't know if... I keep going back and forth of, is that card too strong? Would it be okay in Duel Links?
Yeah.
But if we do get it, again, it's a way to just keep refilling your deck again and again and again, and you just shuffle other copies of itself, so you always have more and more shufflers in the deck. And I guess Paku Paku Chu is kind of the closest thing we have to that right now.
But that's only one.
Yeah.
Where Mirror Innovator can be 3. And I think for the Light Machines, one was Siesta Torero, which I hope we don't actually get in the next box. I do not want this card.
Yeah,
but that
too
has a shuffle
generically
3
good.
monsters. Right? Yeah.
Not to mention,
And,
it's
like,
1200 attack, so you can play it under all of the skills that are like, oh, no 1400 or more outside of your type.
Like, it's 1200. It is a very strong effect, and it puts back 3 monsters, which, like, this could say, like, shuffle 3 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Effect. This card gains 1 attack point, and people would play this in the current format, I think, just because getting those Dragius and everything into the deck again is just so important.
Exactly. It's a tricky balance, right? Because we already have a lot of cards that are considered like staples, like Thunder the Thunder, Speedy Performer. I guess you could say Paku Paku Chu, but you know, it has an entire engine attached to it, and the same thing for Seahorse. But I think Siesta is one of those cards that would almost without a doubt be in every deck that would be allowed it. So it's a tricky one.
But which is more or less all of them.
Yeah. I do,
except for Resonance, I guess.
I would like to see more shufflers in general, though. Just cards to just put cards back in the deck. The issue with that being, so I want that because I don't want deck outs to happen. But again, the flip side is always recycling really powerful cards is always really scary. But I suppose we do have the barrier now, which does let you recycle any monster you want. So we've already got that. Oh, you know, you can maybe, if the stars align, get your Dragius out like 6 times in one game. Maybe 7 if you got the monster incarnation. But let's be honest, that never happens, right? You're never actually summoning Dragius 7 times in a game.
I mean, if you've summoned 7 Dragius and haven't reduced the opponent's life points to 0 yet, I feel like you're doing something wrong.
Your opponent's got a defense mode Yami ruler, and you have no way to boost, and that's you just sat there staring at it the entire time.
So this was pretty fun. I'd be down to do this or another format again sometime. We can definitely talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. It was great having you here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for your time. I don't know if you're going back to the regular stream or if that's the end of it, but
probably gonna
this was a pretty good event.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
Goodbye. All right, and that was Hylister, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed that little exhibition match, I suppose, that we had. Unfortunately, I wasn't really reading chat that much. I was trying to, you know, be respectful to my guest, and I'm really bad at multitasking at the best of times. Anyone who watches the stream can probably tell you that. So let's catch up on this a little bit. We got the Paku Paku Chu hype. We got some hello from Claire. Steve dropped in the Dragius v Dragius. Classic Aquas. Hopefully Red Eyes gets more support in Rush Duel. I mean, eventually it definitely will. Do you think Red Eye's going to be Rush Duel meta? I mean, it's already very, very powerful, even with just 2 cards. So, maybe. I mean, I guess the skill will eventually fall off, but right now it's doing pretty good. The Battle of Tubers is intense. Yeah, I was genuinely trying really hard, and I got utterly destroyed. Hats off to Hylister for being the stronger duelist. The exactly two creators duking it out. Love it. Classic character decks all around. There are a couple of other Rush creators. They just don't upload as anywhere near as much. Obviously, Brad is a great content creator. Obviously, he's more Duel Links general, but he's still fantastic. And Voltalon is another one that I would always give a shout out to. He doesn't upload anywhere near as much, and he doesn't do pretty much any Duel Links content, but his Rush content is still really good. You could try stalling. Dragius is a menace. The horses are hiding. Oops, the stream end. Oh yeah, I think the stream did drop randomly at one point. Unfortunately, I think it was just an internet hiccup. I thought with my next problem, but we're back. Hylia's attack was so strong, Steam broke. Exactly. Rocking too hard. RNG, God hate us today. Part of the cards there, but man. Holding heavy metal. Yeah, it was a rough one for us there. Do you think they'll release a new box? Fingers crossed. GG's. Man, bad luck. Rigged stream so she can win. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that no rigging happened at all. I'm just saying Beast Gear cards were leaked for the last maintenance. Yep, I mean, fingers crossed we'll get them soon. Maybe we're saving Psychic the release of Fusion. That's another thing. I'm wondering if they're doing that with a lot of stuff. We haven't got any good dinosaurs yet, and I'm wondering if that's because they're waiting for the Fusion monsters to come out and just release it all at once. Diversity is way more fun. My deck is so random, I use damage effect only and defend strategy. I respect it. It was so fun to see. Yeah, thanks, Claire. Again, we just, you know, sometimes it's nice to just get together with some other Rush content creators and do something really fun. Hylister is obviously really, really cool. We have communicated quite a lot in the past. She makes some fantastic videos and has a really great stream. She actually simulcasts onto Twitch and YouTube. So everyone, again, should go and check Hylia out on her YouTube channel, where she does make more amazing Rush Duel Links content. But yeah, that's probably going to be it for today. This has gone quite late. We did start 2 hours later, and we have gone 2 hours over, so I guess it kind of works out as being kind of the same length of stream. If anyone's got any ideas they want to see of us doing any collabs in the future, you can feel free to stop by the Discord and let us know. Because again, we're always up for doing stuff. It's always fun to get together with other people and play games. And also, a lot of the stuff on my own YouTube channel is also stuff like this, right? It's dueling with friends, having a great time, playing some Rush. But yeah, I think that is going to be it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. And is there anyone to actually raid? Is anyone online? Is anyone playing Rush? Is anyone doing stuff? We got Spanish, French, Italian. There doesn't appear to be many English people playing. I'll tell you that much. It looks like nobody's playing Rush either. So I'm probably not going to raid into anyone. Ban Dragius next time, lol. Alpaca, that is the smartest thing I think you have ever said. We will probably do that next time because Dragius is a card. But yeah, we'll rather than just keep rambling on, we'll call it there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and next time will be Tuesday. Bye-bye.